Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unscripted. I am Krooked, and this is Unscripted. This is the series where I take a completely unscripted look at things, games specifically, and I give it a 1 through 10 rating. And yeah, wow, the music on this is loud, and not great. This isn't bad, but the opening is awful. This is Mega Man Battle Network 5 Double Team DS as requested by Dragon Kid. We're just gonna get into this. Wow, it's loud. And okay, I was like, why won't it let me start? I'll be Proto Man. Duh.
Because of course I'm Proto Man.
Here was 19XX. Cybersecurity was almost completed. Sorry if it looks wacky. Capturing for DS games is always interesting. I prefer it side by side than up and down. We've done what we've can. Now it's up to the next generation to finish the research. Yes, our offspring will certainly complete what we've started. Yes, let us hope so. Oh, how hopeful. Yeah. Years later in the 21st century, the network keeps society safe from all cyber threats. Up, Lan. I'm on. Wake up, Lan. So, while we get through all this, because this is very much traditional style RPG, kind of an action-y based one, though. If you've never played Mega Man Battle Network, you probably know what Mega Man is. If you don't, Mega Man is a side-scrolling platformer from the 80s and 90s that got a number of sequels, such as Mega Man X, this series, and things like board games. They almost got an online game. Mega Man has had... Wow. There's a bunch of stuff. And with Mega Man, you always have to kind of give it a grain of salt. Some of it's really, really good. Some of it's absolutely terrible. A lot of people just took the RPG elements of Mega Man Battle Network and said, this game is trash, I'm never going to touch it again, it's not a good game. I, however, loving traditional style RPGs, and always looking for new things to play, and having a Game Boy Advance, and loving Mega Man, I picked up the original Mega Man Battle Network game, and I absolutely loved it. It was so cool. It was everything I wanted. It was, characters in my age group. Everything was so cool. Going back to it nowadays, the series is still fun. It's a little dated, as you can tell. There's so much talking. So much talking. The talking never stops. Which is typical for an RPG, but it gets really bad in this game. Things where you're just like, I just want to play the game and no talking. So Mega Man, execute. When you start, you jack in. You also jack out when you're trying to leave. And yeah, this is basically what it looks like. It's all 3D worldy and everything. It kind of feels the way you do when you're in VR nowadays, which is weird because, this predates VR by a while. And then when you're on a screen to fight, because I said it's RPG-ish, this is what you get. And every game starts off with a tutorial where it tells you what chips you can use, how to damage things, how to use the chips, how you can stack chips, how to run away. So with this, you can select 2 cannons because they're both cannons. Anything that's the same or if they have the same letter, there's rules to it. And it's really easy to pick up. And if you do like ABC for the cannons, it gives you benefits and stronger powers and stuff like that.
Let's do it, lad.
So you can do normal Mega Man stuff and charge up. You can also just shoot, or you can use cannon. And I countered, so it makes me super strong. And I've played pretty much all of these. I stopped playing the series around the 4th one. So this one's kind of new to me as well. And I'm just trying to get through this so I can show you what the actual game looks like. Basically, it's a really unique take on a traditional RPG because it's not really turn-based. Instead, you have this grid, and you fight on the grid, and it's kind of still Mega Man, but it's also kind of its own brand new, unique thing. And its style's been emulated by other games as well, such as One Step from Eden, which is one of my favorite games ever, and I should probably review that at some point, because, man, that game is good. So getting through the tutorial teaches you how to play, and it has a lot of unique little elements. Like, it has the emotional state, as you see here. There's different forms. There's different summon characters that you can use as cards. So once we get through all of this, all right, so those are any cards.
Let's bust some viruses.
So what'll happen is if you beat a boss or if you befriend someone, you'll get a little card for them that will allow you to summon them in battle. And when you summon them in battle, you know, you have a super strong card. They're usually like insanely powerful. But that's not usually something that you get until a little bit later in the game. Usually once you defeat your first boss or right before you fight your first boss. Much like any RPG will have, because in RPG, you know, save point before the boss, kind of the same thing. With these games, you can usually save wherever you want, so that's kind of nice. For the portable market, it was one of the best games there was, because you get in your car, you play for a little bit while you're on the ride somewhere, and you can save it and pick it up later when you get home or whatever you have to do. There's tons of unique, fun characters, and the game itself looks cool. It looked futuristic. It looks futuristic now. And they're 20 years old now, so they're really cool games, and they all kind of have the same aesthetic look to them, which is really, really, really cool. So all that good stuff being said about it, this game specifically has a lot of audio. A lot of audio that the other games don't have, and it's a little overwhelming. If you're a fan of the series, then you're probably going to enjoy it, and you're probably going to like all of the different sounds and everything that get brought up. But if you're approaching this series brand new, you're not going to understand why it's yelling music at you, and you're not going to have any of the association with the characters. You're not going to know what the items do. You're not going to know the general way that these games kind of work. Going into it, I know that I need to go through different areas. I know that there's certain times when you want to grind. There's certain weapon combos you can do. But if you haven't played these before, you have none of that knowledge, and it makes it really, really difficult. So for right here, for instance, the way that I can really chain this together and make it nice is I can do those to take off 30 health from the Met there, and then I can do a steal. Wait till next turn, and well, you'll see. So Now, that's my area. And since I'm here, this won't revert back to them. It doesn't look like I have another one, so here I'm gonna probably just do this. Mini bomb. These games are long. They're usually like, I want to say between 20 and 40 hours, depending on how much you want to do. And they're coming back out in the Mega Man Battle Network collection, which I highly recommend getting if you're interested in it. Get it on the Switch, just so that way you have the same portability and experience that you had back when everyone was playing these games originally. And I think they'll contribute a lot to the actual experience itself. So you get to, you know, kind of see the way that the game was supposed to be presented back in the day. And understand that it's not something that you sit down and grind out for 20 hours at a time like you would another RPG or another type of game. With all of that being said, and the music the way it is, and the graphics the way they are, I've kind of addressed most of the points of this game. I get distracted because I love these games. They're games that I'll always love and I'll always cherish because of how much memories I have with them and how much they meant to me back in my childhood. I went on a road trip, and all I had with me was my Game Boy Advance, and I only had a couple games at that point. And man, let me tell you, these games came through clutch, because it was 2 summers back-to-back, and it was literally Battle Network 1, Battle Network 2 the next year.
Not bad, lad.
So, with all that being said, while I do like the series overall, I think with this one in particular, they got really, really extreme. There's so much going on, and because it's not one that you would really be able to get into unless you played the series previously, that's going to bring down the score significantly. And it's a lot more of the same. That's the biggest problem with the series. If I gave the first game a 10, the next one would have to be a 9, solely on the principle of it's the same game.
We can do this.
So, with that being said, I don't think the first game is a 10. I think it's closer to about an 8, but it does get a little bit better from there. With like the second game is better than the first, and then the third game is better than the first 2. But with the fourth and the fifth, it does go down a bit. I'm actually going to give this about a 6 out of 10 because it does have good graphics, but it's nothing new for the series. It has good sound, but it's nothing new for the series. What it does new for the series is nothing that a new player would appreciate or recognize. And for an older player, if you're still playing by this point, it's because you just want to see the story end. There's not really much else here for you. The enemy types are very much similar to older games from the series. It wants to do a lot, but it ran out of ideas. Which is why they followed this up with the Star Force series that changed up a lot. And we might have to take a look at that. But yeah, overall, Battle Network 5, go play the first 4. If you like it, continue on to this one. Otherwise, it's a good time. It's not a great time. You might not have the best of times. I don't know what happened to my music. It just died. So, with all that being said, again, 6 out of 10. Play it if you'd like. Otherwise, you can probably skip it, and you're not going to be missing too much for it. And with all of that, I do want to say thank you for tuning in this time. It was a lot of fun playing this game. Thank you to Dragon Kid for the recommendation. I really appreciate it. It's really fun to go back to a game that I didn't get to experience much, and get to experience it. Wow, the music like died. So yeah. Don't forget to hit that like button if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button so that way you don't miss the next Unscripted. And well, I will see you on the next Unscripted.
Let's do it, lad.
Bye.